everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Vivi and today we're talking about friendships. All things friendships for teenagers and young 20s or even like mid 20s, just people in the same era of ages. I think this could help anybody, even if you're like older or younger. Today I want to talk about friendships because I feel like friendships are one of the most valuable relationships that you can have or cultivate, especially when you're in your younger years. And I also feel like it's probably one of the most painful experiences if it doesn't really bode well or go well. So that's what we're talking about today. I think I also want to talk about a couple of things that I wish I knew when I was younger. So this is like a little bit of like a video to my younger self. If I could say anything to her, these are the things I would say. So yeah, I think the first thing I would tell her is you are going to lose your friends. Friends come and go. And I think that would be I think that statement would be a very hard pill to swallow or a very hard realization to come to, because I am one of those people where I feel very strongly about people that I care about. And if I call you my friend, if you're in my space, if you're in my presence, if you're in my life in any capacity, I'm going to ride for you. I have learned, obviously, now that I'm an adult, that there are ways to doing that can protect me, the person that I am, to try to not be in predicaments or find myself trying to avoid predicaments that just don't suit somebody with that type of nature. I am the oldest of 6. I am the eldest I'm the eldest daughter in my Haitian household. So culturally and just emotionally, physically, mentally, like my experience has always been to kind of be a caretaker. So if I was to say that statement, you're gonna lose your friends, to my younger self, I would have been like, wait, what? It would have came as a shock to me, because it's like, how? Me and this person are so cool. Me and this person are friends. Like, that's my friend. Like, it's just what it is. But the reason why that is a very important realization to come to is because every friendship doesn't last. And the reason why every friendship doesn't last, that goes into my next thing that I want to say, is that because friendships take work. You are not going to just have a friend and you guys are going to be great and cool and be like chilling all the time. What I'm saying is that relationships change and they're dynamic because people are nuanced, and your friendship is not only always going to be fun. It's not always going to be the best thing since sliced bread. You're not always going to be having a great time with your friend. And you as an individual, or anybody that wants to have friends or has friends, or anybody that's even trying to interact with other people, if you're trying to cultivate a relationship, it's going to take work. And the work that I'm talking about is communication, being able to be vulnerable. It's all about how you guys deal with conflict. It's the same thing in relationships also. It's not about how fine he is or how fine she is or how great this person is or how great this person looks and all these things. I'm speaking of relationships right now. It's about how do you guys deal with conflict. You don't really know somebody until you get into it with them. And they say that's a cliche, like, oh, you don't really know somebody until you guys get into an argument. But that's because you get to finally see that person in a different light. It may not be a light that you want to see them in, but it is something that is real and it happens. People are multifaceted. You're not always going to just be in a great mood all the time. I am not always in a great mood all the time. And my husband is very clear and very aware of that. And he may not always be in a great mood all the time. But the foundation of our relationship is a friendship. And in that friendship, we have to have the hard conversations. I have hard conversations with my friends. Like, there are things that my friends and I have spoken about that I don't even think my family would even be able to consume. Or my parents, I would say, because my parents come from a different generation. Because there's just things that you deal with, especially that we're all in a general same age group. It's hard out here, so it's different for us. And the things that we talk about, we go a little bit deep. Like literally 2 days ago, my friend Jarrell called me. I have 3 friends. I have Jarrell, I have Cedric, I have Naisa. Those are my 3 best friends, and that's just what it is. And Jarrell and I were on the phone, we were talking, and we were literally just talking about like spirituality and religion and how we feel about certain things, and talking about deeper things or like abstractions, or like, did we really do this? Is this really what it is? Is this the human existence? And he came up with this crazy philosophy. Well, he didn't come up with it, but he was explaining to me his philosophy about good and evil. And we were just going through that. And those same conversations I have with my friends, I have with my husband. Like, having those hard conversations, having those deeper conversations is really what's going to help keep the friendship relationship alive. I think that a lot of people don't really talk about how important it is to communicate. I feel like even when you hear like people on the street, they're doing like street interviews and they ask for like relationships. So what is the number one thing you would say to having marriage? And a lot of people say communication. Do you know why? Because they have to work through the things that they don't want to deal with. That's why. because communicating with somebody else is going to allow that person to, you're giving that person the opportunity to understand whatever you're going through, feeling on, or mentally, whatever you're feeling mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, and they're able to respond to that, hopefully in a loving and respectful way. That's the exact same thing in your friendships. It is not going to be peaches and cream all the time. And that's the part about friendships that I don't think people tell you when you're younger. Like, you're going to have to do work. You are going to have to communicate with your friend. You're going to have to know, you guys are going to have to learn each other to know how to deal with conflict with each other. I think if I was to describe the type of work that I think a friendship needs, it would be communication, setting boundaries, give and take, and being vulnerable. I think those are the same things that would work in a relationship as well. But today we're talking about friendships, and those would be the main core things that I would tell anybody. That's part of a friendship, is working through conflict and showing you're ugly and being comfortable and safe to even display those things to your friends. Friendships are just as important, or if not more important, than your intimate relationships. And the reason why I say that is because it's also another place in your life where you could be as vulnerable and as honest and as just free as you possibly can. Platonic love is a very important love. Friendships are also one of the least studied relationships, and it's also one of the most pivotal. I think there's a study, if I find the article in time when I upload this video, I'll obviously add it in the description box, that says that friendships, the relationship of a friendship, is the most, the least studied relationship. People talk about intimate relationships all the time because the idea of being in an intimate relationship is one of the biggest decisions you could possibly make in your life. That's what people see it as. Marriage, it's very big. Kids, who are you gonna do that with? Buying a house, who do you do that with? Who do you build with? So that relationship is very deeply studied, but friendships, no, people don't study it because it's just one of those relationships that I think a lot of people don't realize the value in. There is so much value in your friends. Iron sharpens iron. I truly believe that. And I truly believe that the best way to even sharpen iron or be iron or whatever in this analogy is to be the best version of yourself. And I do think that friendships allow that. I think friendships can allow you to be the best version of yourself. Like I said, underneath my marriage, underneath my husband, and as we are husband and wife, we are married, we do things together, we live together, we build together. But he's my friend. Do you get what I mean? And I feel like that friendship, that foundation that we have, is what keeps us intact outside of all the other things that we build on top of. Before we were ever in a relationship, we were friends. And all my friends that I do have, the 3 friends that I do have that I mentioned earlier, we challenge each other. These are all 3 separate friends in my life, so they don't really know each other. I think they know of each other because they know me, but these are all 3 separate friends in my life, and we all met each other at different points in our lives, challenge each other. We talk about hard things. We try to make sure that, you're holding each other accountable, and all of those things that keep that friendship, just tight, real tight. Friendships can also provide a sense of community. I mean, there are so many people that feel like their friends are their family. A lot of people say, friends are your handpicked family members because you can't choose your family, right? And families, I feel like the dynamic in families can be very difficult to even navigate because somebody feels like they're related to you. Sometimes they feel like they don't have to respect your boundaries. Sometimes they feel like they could talk to you a certain way. Sometimes they feel like, well, it's because we have this relationship, aunt and niece, or mom and daughter, or father and daughter, or father and son, or whatever it is, nephew and aunt or uncle, whatever. Because if there's a level of bloodline, we just do things the way that we do things, and that's just what it is. That's not what it is. You know what I mean? And I personally have a very strong opinion about that, which is you have to really try to get to know this person and respect this person regardless of relation. But friendships is that. Friendships, you meet this person who you have no, relationship with, no relation to them in any way, shape, or form, and you handpick them and you choose them to share yourself with. And that place can be such a peaceful and a sense of a communal place because now you're growing with one another, and that person is allowing you to, and mind you, don't get me wrong, we about to get into some frenemies here in a second, but I mean, having a friendship that is healthy or having a relationship with a friend that you like and you love and you care about, that is a safe place, and that person can set up boundaries and you can respect them and vice versa, which can allow a sense of community that you probably never even had before, especially if you deal with family members or any other type of relationship that you had prior to creating a healthy friendship dynamic with friends that didn't give you the opportunity to respect your boundaries, didn't even give you the opportunity to have a voice. Friendships have a secret little space, I think, for that, and I think it's very important to have that in your life outside of relationships because it provides, like I said, just a sense of community, and I think that's very important. Listen to me when I say this. If I was speaking to my younger self or any teenagers or younger 20s, any girls in their younger 20s, or any people in their younger 20s, because I have a little brother and I talk to him all the time, these frenemies gotta go. The people that you rock with, or the people that's like, oh my God, that's my friend, but they're talking crap about you behind your back, or they're doing a lot of things that make you feel belittled, or whenever you guys are in a group setting, they're always putting out your business, or somebody that's just so vocal about your insecurities, or makes you feel insecure. Those are frenemies. Those are not your friends. Those are not your friends. Somebody that is your friend is going to show you who they are with their actions. That's it, no matter what. So when somebody is doing things that are vividly and clearly showing you that they do not care or respect or love you as the individual on the receiving end of that treatment, you need to check that within yourself. Like, do you even want to be around this person? When you are around this person, how drained are you? Do you feel drained around this person? When this person calls, what is the emotion that you feel? Like, frenemies gotta go. I don't like that. Yeah. I don't like the frenemies. I don't like the frenemy vibe. I don't like none of that. At the end of the day, the reality of it is this. If I'm your friend, I'm going to show you that I'm your friend. I'm going to shower you with love and encouragement and healing words, or whatever I need to provide for you as my friend, I'm going to do that. And if there's ever at any point in time that I feel like you do something that either disrespects me, goes against my boundaries, or makes me feel uncomfortable, baby, you're gonna know. You're gonna know. And either we deal with it or we don't deal with it. But if we don't deal with it, then you're just out of my life. It's very simple. Frenemies are dangerous. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not sorry, actually. Sorry, not sorry. Frenemies are dangerous. Get out of that. Please. Right now. Immediately. Do that. Get rid of them. Don't waste your time. Cultivate healthy friendships. Cultivate a healthy version of yourself so you can even have good friendships, and go from there. Frenemies, I'm not with it. I don't like it. I don't care for it. And don't get me wrong. You know what it is? I can't even say that I've had actual frenemies in my life. I can't even say that. I wouldn't want to say that on anybody that I've ever been friends with. But there have been people that, even if it's not the frenemy vibe that I'm saying, like whenever you're out in public, they're telling your business, or all the examples that I gave earlier, there's just some people that just don't want to really be your friend. It's sometimes I think it can be very hard to even cultivate new friendships, because sometimes people don't really want to be your friend. They just want to be around you. They want to have access to you so they can then use that information for whatever motive they may have. I'm not saying everybody that you meet has an ulterior motive. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you have to be wary of who you let have access to you, because it is precious. You are important. And if somebody feels like they're going to just come up in your space and say certain things or do certain things that go against like just your level of comfortability in life, you're affecting my quality of life at that point. You gotta go. Be for real. I'm sorry. Get out. You gotta go. You have to go. Period. I think another thing that I want to talk about is the different type of friends. You know, when people talk about friends and they're like, oh, there's the mom of the group, and then there's the crazy one, there's the this, there's the that. I am not the strong friend. I am not the strong black woman. You need to find a different trope. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the mom of the group. I don't. I think, and for me, it's very triggering for multiple reasons. It's multi-layered for me personally. Like I said, I am the oldest of 6. I'm the oldest girl in my Haitian household. My role in my existence from the day I was born was to be a caretaker, was to be a caregiver, was to be the strong friend, the one that can just hold everything, that can just do everything. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the one that has to even be holding people accountable. Like I said in my adulting video, I was gonna say accountability video. Maybe I ain't got no accountability video. I'm talking about the adulting video. I'm gonna tag it up here in the cards. I talk about accountability. Like, if you were holding yourself accountable, I wouldn't have to hold you accountable. And then being the trope of being the strong friend, or even the strong black woman, the two things that those things have in common is that it doesn't give you any room to be anything else. So I'm just gonna be the one that's always constantly having to tell people about themselves. And then even if I'm doing something that I know I should be doing, which is like, let's say for example, holding somebody accountable, then I'm the one that's wrong. Like, I'm perceived as the person that's just causing the problem, because, oh, here you come with the find somebody else. Get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. Because the reality of it is this: if you're my friend, I don't have to do a lot of things with my friends. The same way I don't have to do a lot of things in my relationship. Like, whenever I'm talking to somebody and they're always like, oh, how are you and your husband doing? My husband and I really don't get into arguments. My husband and I really don't have any issues. And the reason for that is because we've ironed out a lot of things in our relationship. We've also been together for a very long time. But besides that, like, the reality is, in his actions, he tells me who he is every day. And my friends do the same. In their actions, I can already know. If I feel some type of way about my friends, they're gonna know. We're gonna have a conversation. And if we care about each other enough, we're going to make it work, period. I don't like the idea of, well, because I'm addressing something, I'm now being aggressive, or I'm now being rude or masculine. It's like, really? Be for real. For real. Like, I don't have the energy for that. I don't want to be the strong friend. I want to be your friend. I just want to be your friend. Don't put strong, don't put no adjective in front of it unless it's a positive one that I personally like. And that's just the reality that I feel about it. Like, I don't want to be the friend that has to be the mom, the friend. And I was always that. I was always that in my friend group. And I think for a lot of ways, some of it was my fault because it was just my nature. And I don't think a lot of people realize even back then, I was forced by culture to be the strong whatever you want to put after that, right? Friend, daughter, whatever. And it was out of survival. It was not out of necessity. I mean, it was out of necessity. It was out of survival. It wasn't a voluntary decision. So, you know how everybody talks about like the soft life? Like soft life for me, in my mind, the way I've thought about it is I never even had an idea of a soft life because I feel like soft life should just be life. Like the fact that everything is so hard or has to feel so hard all the time, and because of that, I always have to be the dominant or quote unquote masculine. It's annoying. It's very annoying, and I don't want to hear it. I don't care for it. So the different types of friends, like figure out what kind of friend you want to be. If you don't want to be the strong friend, then stop doing the strong friend stuff. I'm sorry. Like, stop doing the strong friend things. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When you stop doing the quote unquote strong friend things, you will figure out who your friends really are. You will. The people that are like, oh, you don't check in on me no more. You don't this, that, or people that just don't respect your boundaries, they're not your friends. They're not. They're just not. Because if you told somebody very clearly what you're going to do and why this is affecting you this certain way, and they continue to do the things that you don't want them to be doing, not your friend. Somebody that disrespects your boundaries, not your friend. Somebody that puts tropes on you that you don't like, not your friend. And to be honest with you, that goes back to my original point where you're gonna lose your friends. Because as people grow, people are different. And yes, it would be lovely if everybody can just have their friends from elementary school all the way up until college. And it'd be great if they just have a wonderful life and they always have good, healthy relationships and they have great dynamics. But that's not taught. So sometimes when you're even dealing with your friends, they're dealing with things internally that they haven't let go of, that when they have a friendship with you, that's what's showing up. Showing up is not the problem. If the thing is showing up and we are having a difficulty or some friction in that area, fine. But how we deal with that is very important. If you cannot deal with that with me, or if we can't work things out, not your friend. Just not your friend, period. Just not the person that's in your corner, really. And that's just how I feel about that. Having healthy friendship starts with you. You have to do the work within yourself. I think the reason why my friendships right now are very flourishing is because everybody is individually doing a lot of internal work. All of us are building something internally. All of us are working towards things that we want to be better at, and all of us are unlearning things that we don't like about ourselves and our environment and our past and our childhood and so on and so forth. And because of that, when we connect, it's always a vibe. It is always a vibe. My friends all have different categories, I guess. They're all my best friends. I have 3 best friends, and I'm gonna keep saying that because that's just the truth. But our conversations are all different, and like I just know for sure, no matter, without a shadow of a doubt, those are 3 people I can rely on no matter what. And I think it's because we all have individual work that we're doing. So when we do get into the moment where we're either connecting, having conversation, talking about different things, bringing different topics up, even things from our past or things that we probably experienced, we're like, hey, you remember when such and such happened? It's because we're growing individually. So if you want to have a healthy friendship, you have to be a healthy individual. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious, but I feel like a lot of people get really upset about that. And then obviously having to define that for every single person is very difficult. Whatever a healthy individual looks like to you, that does no harm to anybody else, internally, work towards that. That is your business. You figure that out. But once you figure that out, that's how you build on having better and healthier friendships. Because what are you doing because sometimes you're the problem. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you're the problem. What are you doing if you're the common denominator in all these failed friendships or all these failed relationships? Maybe there's something that you're attracting, or maybe it's something that you're doing. Just pay attention to yourself, and having anything that you want positive in this life starts with you and begins and ends with you. You are the alpha and the omega of your story. So figure that out and be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be, so you can cultivate relationships that you genuinely love and cherish and that make you feel seen, heard, and safe. Cultivating friendships in your late 20s or as an adult is just harder than when you're younger. And I think the main reason for that is simply because you are in a place, school is the place, for a certain amount of time. And if you graduate high school and you don't go to college, then you're in school for that amount of years. And then when you go to college, you're in school for whatever amount of year it takes for you to graduate. Because baby, I was in school for 4.5, almost 5 years. That degree almost kicked my butt. Either way, the point that I'm making is you're in this environment where you're required to be in all the time, 8 hours a day, whatever amount of time it is, every day, all day, dealing with people that you grow up with, especially if you're in the same area, right? And that's where you create friends. As an adult, what are those areas? There isn't a quote unquote school or a thing that you're going to every day, Monday through Friday, or 4 to 5 times a week to engage with other people that are in your age group. At that point, we're talking about networking events, especially like now I'm 27 years old. Like, I'm not gonna just go find a friend. Like, it's not like no, it's not like that. I think that the thing that can help with cultivating friendships in your 20s or 30s when you're older as an adult is being open to having new friends. Like, for example, when I came to Washington, I really wasn't open to having new friends. I was like, oh, I have these friends, like, I don't need new friends. And my mother-in-law and my mom were very big on me, like, but you're gonna be in a different state. Who are you gonna go to the mall with? Who are you gonna go get your nails done with? Who are you gonna do all these things with that you do here in Florida? I'm like, myself. Like, I was like, I don't need to have the physical thing, the physical aspect of a friendship to even feel like I can't do these things, like, by myself or with my husband if he wants to come with me. Like, at the end of the day, the reality of it was I just wasn't open to new friendships. And to be honest, I'm probably gonna leave this state with no friends from this state. And that to me is not a problem, but that's because I wasn't open to it. But if I was open to it, maybe different conversations would have went a different way, is what I'm saying. If you want to cultivate new friendships in your life, you have to be more open to them to begin with. Starting with yourself, having a healthy relationship with yourself, being open to having healthy friendships, and then moving from that point to just being yourself. I think a lot of people feel a little bit weary about being themselves because obviously everybody's not, nobody's perfect. Everybody does things differently. It just is what it is. But be yourself, because the whole point of being a friend, having a friend, is so they can see you for who you are and you can see them for who they are, and then be cool. And then if yourself doesn't work with that person, like if you're being yourself and it just doesn't mesh, then it just doesn't mesh and you move on. I just think that having friendships is important, but I think having good friendships is more important than just having friends just to say you have friends. No, that's a waste of time. Like, what are we doing? So that's just that. And if you do have multiple friends that you have really good connections with, then you're just blessed and you have really great dynamics and friendships and people that you can experience life with, which is wonderful. But if you are somebody who is looking to have friends, especially if you're in my age group, older or younger, I think anybody between the ages of 23, 20, honestly, all the way up until older than that, trying to find new friends, be open, be yourself, be genuine, be honest, show those characteristics, and hopefully those are the things that you would get back from your friend. And if you do not get those things back from your friend, you guys work through them, and that's just what it is. That's just everything I wanted to talk about today. Those are the things I wanted to say about friendships in your 20s and your teens, things that I think can help anybody when you're trying to navigate friendships. If you like this video, subscribe. If you liked this video, subscribe. Just like it, subscribe, come back next week. Like I said, I will be posting. I think I posted at this point. You guys should have already seen my get ready with me. You guys should have already seen me get ready. And I said that I post videos every Saturday, noon PST time. So if you're ever wanting to know where your girl is at, that is where I will be on YouTube every Saturday. And then of course, follow me on socials. I'm trying to be better at Instagram, but it is what it is. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I will see you guys next week. I am Vivi and I am out. See you guys later. Bye.